Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Something Super Spiritual with our bestie astrologer in the world, Dena DeCastro. Thank you so much for being here, Dena. We have so much to talk about.
We do. Thank you for having me, Jeff. I'm so glad to be here again.
I am too, because there's just so much happening right now. And this is
Yeah.
kind of a part two to our last month, our quarterly check-in last month. We decided there's so much happening in the world right now, in the planets and the energies sparking so much around all of us and within all of us that we needed to have a part two. So yeah, thank you
Yes.
for taking the time to be here with us.
Of course. Of course. Yeah. And I would encourage people to go back and listen to that one if you missed it, because it'll be a good complement to this one, like after you get done listening to this one. Because there is just so much going on this year astrologically. So just a quick who I am. If you're new here, it's your first time. I'm Dena DeCastro, and I'm an evolutionary astrologer. I've been practicing astrology and doing readings for over 20 years. And I am really oriented towards helping people to know themselves better through their chart, as opposed to being predictive. So even if we do a forecast, I look at ways to provide you with the tools to make better choices in your life, to know how to navigate certain challenging times in your life better. And I'm all about helping you to go deeper into knowing yourself through the chart. So that's just a short bit about me. But yeah, and I love doing these things with you, Jeff, because we always get such great questions, and we'll spend a little time with Q&A at the end too, for people who are wondering how these collective energies are going to be really playing out for them.
Yeah. Yeah, I just love doing these with you as well. The feedback we get that I receive in emails or DMs it's we're here in this community to share and expand together.
Yeah.
And right now there's so much going on, so much happening out there. It's just it's a little overwhelming. So it's so awesome to have these conversations and break everything down into really practical understanding and recognizing that in spite of what it looks like or what it feels like, there's still hope. There's still hope, and in that hope we have each other. So yeah, let's just talk a little bit more about let's take
Dive
this on
in.
to our part two.
Well, the theme of this part two is the Aquarius Leo polarity. And we're going to be talking about how Leo and Aquarius are really activated in this year of 2026. So in the second part of January and the first a little, almost third of February, you probably felt this electrical energy of change like bubbling up. Many of you who are sensitive, you may have felt that. And that's because there was a stellium of planets, meaning there was a large group of planets in the sign of Aquarius. And Aquarius, which is an air sign, it has a very electrical feel to it. It feels like exciting, things are changing, things are moving. And it is the energy of revolution. It's the energy of breakthroughs. It's the energy of, collective people's coming together in a shared cause and a shared purpose to make things happen, to move things out of stuck places.
Yes.
And so we've really been seeing it playing out, in our country, on the world stage, and probably in your individual lives. If you really look at what's been happening, let's say the past month since the last lunation, then, you really will get a taste of some of the bigger themes of this year for you. If you just, this past month has been like the microcosm of the macrocosm of this year. And yesterday we had a solar eclipse, a new moon solar eclipse in Aquarius, which is the first one of a 2-year cycle of eclipses on the Leo Aquarius axis. So that also was a kickoff event yesterday. And it's not just about one day yesterday, that the influence of an eclipse is really strong a few days before and after the event, but also really through the next 2 weeks. And then it's marking, again, a set of themes that are unfolding over the next 2 years. So what does that mean? New moon eclipse in Aquarius, solar eclipse. It is about new opportunities for us to set strong intentions about how we're going to rebuild our lives, how we're going to break down the structures that are no longer serving us, to let go of the past and to look toward the future. And Aquarius is very much a forward-looking, future-oriented sign. It is not about clinging to the past. And there could be, some fears that come up for us, for sure, around letting go of old habits, old ways of looking at things, kind of the places where we've got comfortable, and I'm guilty of that. My moon is in Taurus. I really like to be comfortable and I'm very attached to my habits. So this Aquarius energy is really shaking me up in a lot of ways, because Aquarius, is a sign that's square to my Taurus moon. And so I'm really feeling that tension between wanting to keep things the way they are, because it's just like comfortable, like old slippers. Yeah. And then having to step into some new shoes that might not be as comfy, but are a lot more stylish, frankly.
Yeah.
Are you feeling that, Jeff? What's been going on for you?
Totally. I with Aquarian energy, that just really, like, for me, I feel the like the sacred rebel rising to the surface, and that sacred rebel standing up and saying no more. That things have to change, that everything. And I mean more than just like what's happening politically, but I mean like things that are happening, because what is within is without. So this is, things have to change on our insides as well as we move forward. And I also love the Aquarian energy because of the collective nature of it, that it's about, the us as a collective oneness, rather than just the ego, but myself and what's going on in my world today that might distract me and, consume me with, fear and doubt and whatever can happen. But yeah.
That, and you hit on something there with the polarity of Leo and Aquarius. Leo is also a sign that's highlighted this year, as the eclipses will move into, in Leo in part as well. And then Jupiter moves into Leo in late June of this year for a year. So Leo is the opposite sign, and opposite signs actually complement each other. They do get along. Opposites are not bad or, antagonistic to each other. This pairing of Aquarius Leo is about bringing into balance the Leo qualities, which are about connecting with your heart. Leo rules the heart. Leo is also about self-expression and creativity that springs from knowing yourself. And then the Aquarius piece is about joining with others that share a sense of like-minded purpose. And so when you blend the two, if you're in touch with your heart and what you want to share and what you have to give from your individual self, and you let that guide you to the Aquarian kind of the orientation that you want to express it in, the right groups, the people that you jive with, the people that support the things that your heart wants to play with and express, then it's a win-win, and you can have all the more power to those causes that you join with when you're coming from that Leo heart place, when you're really clear about who you are and what you have to share, and you're willing to shine your light. That's also what Leo is about. You and I have talked a lot about that, from, talking about your chart, being a Leo, having your Leo sun in the 10th house of visibility. It's, I would say, you're here to shine your light. That's what it is, right? Yeah.
It is. It is. With respect to that,
Mm-hmm.
what, with respect to this, well, to that, we just talked about the axis of the Aquarian and Leo pairing. This
Yeah.
this eclipse that just happened yesterday. What is that actually? What do we do with that?
Mm-hmm.
What do we do with that information?
Great question, because this is really, it goes to how do we use astrology practically?
Yes.
So we're still in the window of time where you can work with this as even though it's not in Aquarius anymore, the moon is in Pisces now, but we're still in that new moon phase, and the energy of the eclipse, of the new moon eclipse, is reverberating the next few days. So you can write down your intentions. Really, a good time frame to use is the time frame between now and the next eclipse on this axis, which is going to be August 12th, the solar eclipse in Leo on your birthday, Jeff. And so that's a kind of a tidy 6-month window, which gives you time to manifest things, right? And it is, I think sometimes people get caught up in the thinking of the lunar cycles as only, oh, I plant a seed at the new moon and it has to manifest by that full moon, which is 2 weeks later. It's like, that's not, that's too short of a time really for most things that we're trying to manifest. So it's a good time. Like, I personally made a list of my intentions, not really my wishes, but my intentions for this next 6 months regarding the matters of Aquarius and where this falls in my chart, which is, if for me, it's in the 11th house of aspirations, goals, dreams, and joining with groups and getting, kind of your voice out there to groups and meeting up with your audience, so to speak. So I made a list of my intentions around that. I folded up that paper and I did something magical with it. And you could do that too. You can write it down on a piece of paper, put it in a special place where you're going to kind of see it every so often. And that can be just a really good, simple ritual to do. And you're still good like the next couple of days to work with that energy.
I love ritual. I love to do things like that.
Mm-hmm.
I have made those lists, the new moon, writing out the intentions and goals and aspirations and all that stuff we want to focus on. And also, with respect to those intentions, coming into alignment with the self within that is prepared for those changes and what it takes to be in that space of growth and expansion to be where you want to be in the future, right?
Right, exactly.
And I like to write out on a piece of paper and then bury it like I'm literally planting seeds.
That's beautiful. I like that. I like things where you involve the earth and the elements and nature. I use that a lot myself, and it can just be very simple. You don't have to get complicated with these rituals at all. So that's one way to use it. And then check in at that second eclipse, which is going to be in August 12th in Leo. And then at that point, you can do a whole new set of intentions. You could look at the intentions you set here in February and say, how are those coming along? Are there any things that I want to adjust or change or build upon or let go of even? And then start a new cycle with it, right? From that next new moon eclipse in August. Yeah. It's a fun way to work with it. One thing I want to be sure to mention too is that something called the transiting nodes are shifting onto the Aquarius Leo axis as well, again in that August time frame. So that is, it's a period of time between now and then where we're still wrapping up this what has been in the Pisces Virgo axis, Pisces about shedding and letting go and releasing, Virgo about coming into a better understanding of our own perfectionist tendencies and letting them go. So it is, it's a powerful time and a reset button also that starts August 18th with the nodes moving onto Leo Aquarius axis and then aligning with the eclipse cycle. That, in other words, you'll see even more of a magnification of these Aquarius Leo themes, I think, in the, the last third of the year, and then into 2027 and early 2028, that this will just continue. And there's more that we'll get to of this Aquarius business. But yeah. Tell me what, what you're feeling and seeing in your own life, or like anything that's coming up as themes for your clients around this whole idea of like feeling compelled to join up with others around the things that you care about, around the things that are important to your heart.
Well, synchronistically, and as I'm sitting here thinking about it, as you asked this question, with the Aquarian archetypes being that much more connected with the collective and groups, big, large groups, synchronistically, that's actually what's happening in my own work, where I am, the groups are happening in ways that they have yet. And it's big and it's fast and it's amazing and it's expanding even. Yeah. I just got back from New Mexico last week for doing two more events out there, and it was incredible. They just keep getting better and better. I'm doing my own events in Tiburon on the 28th and 28th of February and March 7th. And those, that's more expansion. So synchronistically, with respect to the archetypes that are taking place, it's literally playing out that way in my own experience.
Yeah. You'll see that, these archetypal energies are moving in the collective and they play out in our individual lives. And sometimes, it can be helpful. This is why it is helpful to get an astrology reading, especially looking at transits, so you can see what houses these things are activating in your personal chart, like a forecast reading. And so for example, we were talking about how you've got this eclipse coming that's in your 10th house. And so you're really going to be able to see how is that playing out for you in that year ahead, regarding 10th house themes, which are about visibility, career, right? It makes sense that all this is cooking right now.
Yeah.
Knowing that you're leading up to a solar eclipse on your sun in the 10th house of your chart, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's where it could be really helpful to get a reading to understand, like, specifically where did these things fall in your chart? Where does Aquarius land in your personal chart? Some of you may know that by the houses, what signs fall in what houses for you. And that's really helpful to apply that information.
Yeah. You guys, if you haven't spoken with Dena yet, I highly recommend it. It's just to have this awareness of your own blueprint and be able to like literally see it activating in your own life, or the things that you've experienced on your journey. And you're like, oh my gosh, it's just, yeah, it's so helpful to have that awareness.
Yeah,
so
thank you.
Yeah. I put some links in the chat, you guys, for Dena's offerings, and to talk a little bit about that while we're right here, I guess.
Yeah. So basically, like, we could do that. So a couple of things that I do offer that are helpful to what we're talking about are, there's a program that I have called Transit Your Year, which is a 4 reading package. And that takes you through a whole year of astrological guidance. You get a reading every 3 months, so quarterly. And that's a nice frequency to check in, is what I'm hearing from the participants in that, because, sometimes when you get a year ahead, it is a lot of information, and you have, sometimes it's hard to know, like you were asking, Jeff, like, how do I implement this? So the very thing we just did, where I said, okay, you would write down a list of things and, do a ritual around that. I would create personal rituals with people, because we have the time to do that. If we're meeting every 3 months, I would give you specific things designed for your chart and what your transits are. So that's one way to work with me. And another one is to get a forecast reading. That's a once a year type of reading where we look at the whole year ahead. And that's a great overview and a good place to start with me. There's also just focusing on the natal chart. If you've never had a reading before, I recommend that. So getting a soul purpose reading would be a good choice if you've never had a birth chart reading at all. Yeah.
You know what, Dena, Bobby. Hi, Bobby. Hi, darling. Let me put this up here. It's a great question. Yeah. Is it possible to know your astrological blueprint without knowing your birth time?
That is such a great question because a lot of people don't have their exact birth time. And I have done many readings for people without a birth time. It's important to work with a qualified astrologer, to do this. But yes, you can get plenty of good information and to know, much of what you need to know from a chart without having the birth time. It's a different kind of chart that I cast. What we do know are the placements of the planets and the signs. We know the moon with a little bit of wiggle room. What we don't know are the house placements. And yet, when I look at the relationship of the planets to each other with something called aspects, I can get so much good information that it's really just fine to do it without a birth time. So I've done it many, many times. And I would encourage you to do it if you're interested. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
Yeah.
Lori has a good question. Hold on. Click.
Sure.
Wait. Oh, here we go. Lori says, Dena, can you tell where a person is best suited to live, a place where there are more and better opportunities?
So that's something called, there are different ways to look at that. And astrocartography is one way. It's where it's a map where planetary lines are cast, and you can see where certain lines are for you on the globe. And so it won't tell you something as simply as this is where your best place is to live, but we'll tell you what different energies are in different places. I'm hesitant to ever, and I don't do those kind of readings, but I'm hesitant to ever tell anybody like, that's where you should live, because then somebody picks up and moves to Hawaii or whatever. And then they're like, wait, life didn't magically turn out great here. Because no matter where you go, there you are. Your natal chart is still your natal chart, right?
Truth.
So, yeah. So it's nothing as a magical fix, but it is nice to know that different places hold different energies for us. There's also another method called relocation astrology, which casts your chart in that location. So these are things that I personally don't specialize in, but I can always refer you to someone if that's something you're really interested in.
So I'm just going to say from my own experience, the astrocartography was absolutely fascinating.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
I've
okay.
lived a ton of places. I mean, I have lived everywhere from, South Dakota, Minnesota, Arizona, Southern California. Now we're in Northern California, Washington State, Hawaii. I've oh my gosh, I've been all over the place. And when I had my astrocartography done, holy cow, just to see the energies present in the places that I was and reflect back on how I felt there, or where I was, like whether I was moving forward, or maybe I was in a stage of, cocoon and silence, or maybe I was trying to move forward, but I experienced all these challenges and it just wasn't working. Or maybe I was in a place and I just felt constantly depressed and I didn't know why. It was fascinating. Absolutely fascinating.
I think it's really useful when you've been places and then you can look at the chart and see how it lines up and get that feedback and that validation. It's also to remember that we have karma with places. We have been places, in our previous lives that we have that instant energetic connection with, positively or negatively sometimes.
Completely.
Yeah. But I've had similar experiences. So I get what you're saying there for sure.
It's just another piece of this massive cosmic bubble that we're in, where it's not just astrocartography that we want to look at and make decisions from, but it's everything that we're wired with, specifically with regard to our natal chart and the transits that are happening at the moment, with respect to our numerology. I mean, that's part of it too. And like there's just so much in this tapestry of life. It's awesome.
Yep, it's life's rich tapestry, to quote a song. So yes, absolutely, and it is just one piece of information. So if you get that kind of a reading, that's also important to remember. Like, okay, do you take that information, but put it in context of other ways of looking at it, and also your own gut. Pay attention to your own intuition. It's like it
Totally.
doesn't make sense to move to a place if you go there and you feel like this just doesn't, the vibe isn't right for me. Even if the chart says it's great, you have to go by your own instinct first. So that's always my recommendation for people.
Completely.
I guess one thing I wanted to be sure to mention about this year ahead, and we can take more questions on this too if people have it, but
yes, please do, guys.
There's something called the Uranus Pluto trine that's happening this year. And this ties into all of the Aquarian themes that we're talking about, because Uranus is the ruler of Aquarius. It's making a trine to Pluto, transiting Pluto, which is in the sign of Aquarius. And that trine, which is a flowing or harmonious angle between the two planets, is happening really beginning in the late spring of this year. It comes to a first exact July 17th, another exact November 29th, and all the way through 2027 and even into 2028. This transit is going on. So it's a big one. And how it is impacting us is Uranus kind of unleashes the energy of what it touches. So it's unleashing Pluto. Pluto is about transformation, endings, and new beginnings. In Aquarius, the sign of the rebel, the revolutionary, etc. Right? And Uranus itself will be in Gemini, which is an air sign. So they're both going to be in air signs. Air signs make things happen quickly. And I see it as like these two things are, these two planets are egging each other on, so to speak, through that period of time. And Pluto intensifies what it touches. So it's going to be intensifying the Uranian archetype, which is about freedom and liberation and change and revolution, right? Now, that being said, not all, trines are not all good and all rosy. Like I'm so Saturn moon when I'm like, you're like, yeah. And I'm like, but wait, but wait,
there's more.
Wait, there's more. There's always more. When something is happening at such an accelerated pace, it can be like being on a roller coaster and you're going, wait a minute, slow down. Which is the feeling I have about this transit. And where it lands in your chart is going to tell you the areas of life where, and it will be 2 houses that are activated and possibly some of your planets. It's going to tell you, here's the area of life where you might be like, I'm on a roller coaster 1 minute. And then the next minute you're like, hold on, slow down. Because things are changing really fast. And that can be good news, especially right now when a lot of us might be feeling like, God, when is this going to change? Whatever it is in our personal life, in our collective experience, of just feeling like I'm so tired of the way things have been dragging along for a long time here. It just seems like things aren't changing fast enough. Well, get ready, because this summer, we're kicking off this accelerated period of fast change, transformation, new information, new sudden ideas coming in, inspiration. So recommendations for that, first of all, find strategies for getting grounded, because that will be a nice antidote to that energy of like being on a roller coaster and not being able to get your balance or your bearings. Right.
Yeah.
So whatever your strategies are for getting in your body, connecting with the earth, slowing down, remembering to rest, I just feel like that's going to be super important for us to remember, because we could get really caught up in a kind of a chaotic pace of change that's coming for us individually and in the big picture. And then also to stay connected to your heart, because So Leo is going to be magnified. We're going to talk about that in a sec with Jupiter and Leo. And that's about, staying connected to your heart, keeping your heart open. But Uranus and Pluto are in signs that are very intellectual and sometimes emotionally disconnected in their shadow. So Gemini and Aquarius. Ooh. Aquarius can be downright dissociative.
Totally.
So be mindful that you might get caught up in ideas that aren't very connected to your heart if you're not careful. And that's something to watch during that period as well. So I'm just calling out the shadow, because with Pluto, you always got to look at the shadow too. But that being said, Jupiter will be in Leo starting at the end of June 30th, I believe, and it will be there for a year, really magnifying the Leo connection to the heart and staying connected to who you are on a soul level, remembering who you are, and then wanting to shine that out in the world. That's the message of Jupiter and Leo, and having the opportunities to shine that out into the world. So it's a very potent combination of energies coming in this summer. And it's good that we're doing this now, because then people have time to prepare. And I feel like these themes are already coming in because of the eclipse and the stellium we just had. And, things will just start showing up around it. Tell
everybody what a stellium is again, one more time.
Yeah, great clarification. So stellium means a group of planets, usually 3 or more in one sign. So we just had, for example, 5 planets at once in Aquarius at one time. Ooh. That pattern broke up, but yeah, that's a lot of focus in one sign. Yeah.
Thank you. I'm sorry. I'm looking here at the chats. Hi, everybody. It's so great to see you all. Hold on. I just saw there was a question here. Scout, where are you? I saw Scout. Here we go. Hi, Scout. Scout says, hi, Dena, for being a beginner who is trying to learn my chart. Any recommendations on the best way to study and understand it? Yes, Scout.
I've got an answer for you. I've got a few answers. Yes. So first of all, I have a beginner's book called Foundations of Astrology, a workbook for beginners, which you can find on my site. And maybe we can pop a link in there too. I'll send it to you, Jeff.
Yep.
And so that one is good because it's an interactive workbook, and it lays out all the basic pieces that you need to understand your own natal chart. And it's short, it's concise. There's not a lot of extra fluff in that book. It is really streamlined and meant to help people an entryway into understanding your own chart. And there are many books that I recommend, other books that you could start with to study. One of my favorites is The Inner Sky by Stephen Forrest. He's a really clear writer, and he, in that book, covers planet signs and houses in a very orderly, methodical way that's easy for beginners to understand. So those are 2 book recommendations. What I caution people against is AI research, because it's not super accurate at this point. I mean, you're going to get some good information if you know what you're looking for. But that being said, it's not reliable yet. And maybe at some point it will be. It's getting better and better. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you'll get, accurate information. Sometimes you won't. So it's really, as a beginner, I really point people towards actual books by astrologers as the way to learn. So,
and Scout, Dena's book, you guys, it is so easy to comprehend, because this is a lot of information. This is a lot of learning new language, the language of archetypes, the language of the planets, the houses, and all that, what all this stuff means. It's a lot. And it's a lifelong journey, really.
Yeah.
But her book, you guys, really, really is so great to get started with, because I'm serious. It is such an easy read. She makes everything feel so practical and pragmatic, and it's like, oh, that makes sense. Okay, that makes sense. You hear these terms and you read these terms and you're like, oh, I remember that, but never understood it. And you're like, oh my God, I get it now. So yeah, just
That's such great feedback.
yeah,
Thank
yeah,
you.
take a look at her book on her site. I'll put that in the comments as well.
Yeah, I just put that in our private chat, Jeff, just in
Oh,
case
good.
you didn't.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah. So I encourage you to do that. And just also be patient with yourself as a beginner. It is a very complex subject. It's more complex than people really realize. And so just if you feel like I don't get all this right away, like it's just going to take time and practice like anything. And if you have an interest for it, just keep going. Keep going.
Yeah, keep going. And Ness, wow, thank you so much. Bless you. Thank you so much. Wow. Warms my heart. Oh, wow.
Thank you.
Yeah. Guys, Scout, she says, thank you so very much for answering my question. I will definitely replay this live stream to write down your recommendations. Yeah.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, Scout.
Yeah. Okay. So, next.
Yeah. So let's see. We've got Jupiter and Leo.
Right.
We've got Uranus, Gemini. Go ahead.
I was just trying to think, like I just got lost in my head for a moment.
Yeah. I get lost in my head a lot. You know what it is? It's all that Pisces energy today. We've got the sun, the moon, Venus, Mercury, and Pisces today.
Wow.
Yeah. So we have a stellium in Pisces right now. That'll break up soon. But yes, it's a lot of Pisces at the moment. Pisces makes you a little foggy around the edges, by the way. For those of you who are wondering, that was my shorthand way of saying, no wonder we could be a little spacey at the moment sometimes.
Yes, spacey. Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's go back to here we are coming into the end of February. We had talked about Dena, I don't remember what we were talking about. Something at the end of February, this launch starting with this eclipse.
Oh,
moving forward. Do you remember?
You do mean so do you mean the Saturn Neptune conjunction that's happening?
We talked a lot about that last time. Let's just recap that really quickly.
Yeah.
Because that's also big on what's happening right now.
Yep. Yeah. So the Saturn Neptune conjunction that's coming up Friday.
Oh.
It's big. Yeah. It's coming up Friday. So, okay. So this is big. And it is important to reiterate here because it does tie into all of these other energies we're talking about. Saturn, by the way, is a little known co-ruler of Aquarius. So Aquarius has two rulers. One is Uranus. One is Saturn is the traditional ruler. So it is tied in to this picture. And Aries is a sign, has a cooperative relationship, shall we say, with Aquarius. Aries and Aquarius are sextile to each other as signs, and so they work well together. So this event happening at 0 degrees Aries, the Saturn Neptune conjunction is playing into this whole picture. Now I'll try to explain how. So firstly, let's just take a minute to understand how momentous this event is. Saturn and Neptune only come together every 36-ish years. So that's a big cycle. But it has not happened at 0 degrees Aries, which is the first degree of the zodiac. It's called the world point. It has not happened there for several thousand years, we think. We don't even know when, but people are estimating how far back, but they had to look back, into the ephemerides, like several thousand years.
Wow.
So this is rare. And there is no more sensitive degree of the zodiac wheel than 0 degrees Aries. It's the beginning. It's the beginning of everything. It's about birth. It's the absolute reset button. So Saturn, structure. Neptune, dreams and connection with all that is the mystery, right? We bring those two together in Aries. It's about a new beginning spiritually for many of us, a new beginning in our spiritual lives, our connection with spirit. It's about also building new structures that support ways to bring our dreams down to earth. And by dreams, I mean our big, the things that we carry in our heart and our soul when we come down here, our big dreams, right? So this is, it's not that everything, again, happens on one day. And I really want to get that point across, that you'll see with astrological events, it happens on such and such a date. Usually things are in range for a longer period of time, but that's an exact point. In this case, though, I mean, it is pretty momentous it's a beginning of something. And everything leading up to this has, especially the past few months, has been an unraveling and an ending to an old structure, perhaps in your own life, perhaps in the world around you as you're looking at it, that's preparing the way for the birth of something new. How I think it plays into and supports the Aquarian energy that's coming in this year is that, we need to have discipline and structure, Saturn, around the ways that we try to enact our humanitarian urges and the causes that we support and the people that, the groups that we want to get engaged with. I think it's reminding us that we need to have commitment and devotion. And we also need to be spiritually aligned when we take those actions toward being part of a group or a cause, and to remember our spiritual connection and to remember that it's going to take time and devotion and commitment. That's Saturn. So patience also is it's something that's hard for many of us, but patience and remembering like things take time and energy, and you can't just expect everything to magically work out. It's Saturn's reminding us of that and the potency in this aspect. So that's a little bit about that, but I do really feel like that was important to bring back around as it connects to this whole bigger picture.
It makes a lot of sense. I mean, the especially the spiritual component that you spoke about with respect to the additional spiritual awareness, additional awakening, the awakening that's happening globally. More and more people are waking up every day to the truth and who they are and starting to question like everything that is happening in this world today, everything that we were imprinted with from birth. Everything that we were, religion, even school, cultural spells, all that illusion, all that stuff that doesn't matter, that we've been led to believe does matter, all of that superfluous stuff. Is that the right word?
Yes. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. So it's really about the synchronicities happening with respect to astrology. And like you said, this connection with Saturn and Neptune at 0 degrees Aries, amplifying the waking up of people.
Yeah. I do think it's a big wake up call. It's a big wake up time. I mean, and you can see like, since we talked in the fall, we were talking about Pisces back in, I want to say it was October. And how, the Pisces energy was about compassion and opening up to empathy, more awareness of our connectedness to others. And I see how that was preparing the way for this, because then now it's time to take action on all those feelings that were stirred up by the sensitivity that we've all been having, by the awareness of our empathy and having our hearts broken. I mean, really, January was a heartbreaking month for many of us, personally, collectively in this country. And I think now it is just, Saturn in Aries, first of all, is a little bit like, okay, dry your eyes now and get to work.
Proactive.
It is a little tough.
Mm-hmm.
It is a little tough. It's like, it's that stern, like, you know, divine masculine energy coming in and saying, okay, buck up. It's time to get to work. Yeah.
Buck up, buttercup.
Buck up, buttercup. Yeah. It's
time to get
no
to work.
more Pisces,
Yeah. Liz, I just like, that was so funny. So Liz says, Saturn is the mean neighbor that is probably head of the homeowners association.
I like that image. That's good. I love to personify planets like that.
Yes.
And I think it helps people get their meaning. But
it
that's
totally
perfect.
does. Yeah, it totally does.
I see that as the Saturn in Virgo would be. Saturn is the mean neighbor that's the head of the homeowners.
Oh yeah, especially with respect to this,
yeah.
This next comment, better keep the weeds pulled. That's totally Virgo.
That's right. Yeah. When Saturn gets around to Virgo, that's what's going to be happening. Yeah. And if you have Saturn in Virgo, well, there's a little bit of that in you. But yeah, Saturn in Aries is full on, like, I don't know if many of you here have heard of or read the book, The War of Art by Stephen Pressfield. It's about creativity. I mean, he's a writer and he's talking about writing, but it's about creativity. But he talks a lot in militaristic terms about this idea of resistance. But in that book, I feel this Saturn and Aries agents energy of just get over your resistance. Like, just do it. Just do the thing you're afraid to do. There really isn't a shortcut. There really isn't any more staying on the fence about it. It's time to face the fears and do it anyway, and that's a big part of the message that Saturn and Aries has been about. Yeah. Yeah.
That's huge. Do what scares you.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot to be said about that. Especially that which you feel called to do, that you might not feel prepared, or you might feel like you need more classes, or you need more practice, that calling on your inside, wherever it might be, whatever it is, that we can so easily create these delay tactics on the inside, like, oh, I'm just not ready, or I need to do this first, or I need to do this first. No, face that fear and do it anyway. Close your eyes, count to 10, and go.
Yeah, that is so. It's so fire element too. Like, okay, so the highlighted signs, 2 of them that we've talked about are Leo and Aries, and both of those signs have to do with taking risk. I mean, all of the fire signs really are about risk taking, and this is a big year for that. This is a year to take risks, even though you won't have all the information and you won't feel as prepared as you might want to be, etc., like you just said. But Aries is absolutely about embracing as much courage as you can muster and taking the action and doing the things that need to be done, doing the next right thing because it's the right thing to do, instead of staying in this limbo place, which is, I think you and I talked about with the Pisces piece. We all were feeling that little bit of like, I'm a little bit in limbo from October through, January of this year, this past few months. Yeah. And it's okay. Like, everything has its cycle, but now is the time to, get out of bed into the cold room and go splash cold water on your face and go about your day after you've had a nice cozy sleep.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that feeling. Yeah.
I like that. I like that limbo aspect that you spoke about, because it is very true that we, cyclically have to rest, or we're put in a place of timeout, seemingly. We're put in a place of timeout. No matter what we do or what we try or what we're intending on, it just, like, for whatever reason, it's just not happening. You're not moving forward. And Mavis Patilla, bless her soul, an incredible, beautiful medium in the UK, passed away a few years ago.
Mm.
She would call that limbo space the hallway, and she'd say it was hell in the hallway because you're in the hallway and you have all these doors along the side and you're not quite sure which door to take. Is it time? Should we move, or this one's not opening? And I feel, so it's that limbo, that space where we're just put in a period of timeout, and now is the time where it's like, okay, we've had the timeout, we've had the rest.
Mm-hmm.
Time to, put on our big girl panties and walk out the door.
It does feel like that,
Yeah.
and I think like the caveat to that, and I always be a devil's advocate for something, is like, so we're talking in terms of the big picture. That is definitely the vibe, especially of the next year or so, with all this fire and air and the Aries and the Leo and all of Aquarius. And I think you and I mentioned last time that there are these Mercury retrogrades and water signs kind of punctuating the year. And we've got one coming up that's starts next Wednesday, 25th, Mercury retrograde in Pisces, for 3 weeks until March 20th. And so what I make of that, it's kind of like a soft launch versus a hard launch. It's like we're getting a soft launch to this energy through the next month, and it's a reminder that it's like, okay, don't, you can hit the ground running, but like, don't burn your whole fuel tank at one go. You're going to have to pace yourself. And know that maybe this first month that we might still be getting our sea legs, so to speak, that after the limbo time, there is this transition period. It is okay to still be tired and need to rest. And like, I know personally, I mean, I've had a lot going on personally, but I've felt very, very tired the last couple of weeks overall physically. And you just hit a limit of what you can do. So what I don't want is for people to feel like the Saturn and Aries thing that I just talked about is pressure to like, okay, go, go, go. Like you got to go nonstop. I'm a big proponent of remembering to pause, remembering to rest, remembering, again, there's a cycle for everything. And there's even a cycle within each day and within each week and within each month of when you have energy and when you don't. And so honor that too, in balance, right?
Yeah. Do you guys have any other questions out there? Hey, Kevin. It's nice to see you. Yeah, if you guys have any other questions, we have about 7 minutes left. If you want to,
let's see. I'm looking through the comments as well.
I loved what Lori said, something somewhere about humanity needing a reset.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's synchronistically what is taking place. The energy is setting up for all of that.
Yes. Yeah, it is. I mean, we're in the reboot process. Yes. And you know how that takes, your computer takes a little bit to reboot. I feel like that's how, we're going to feel it, as like glitching a little bit and then getting going. I'm scrolling through here as well to see if there's anybody else. Yeah, if you have any final questions, let me know. Oh, as a Leo, how can I best use this energy in the moment? Well, let's talk about that, because I think this is a big year for Leos. And first of all, Jupiter is going to be entering your sign at the end of June. So it stays in a sign for about a year. So from July 2026 through June to July 2027, you're going to have Jupiter in your sign. Jupiter is about expansion, good luck, and opportunity. So how do you maximize that? Like, it's a powerful year, depending on when that's conjunct your sun or not, but still, just as a Leo, you're going to have a year of more opportunities coming your way than the average. It's a year where good luck just kind of flows to you. And so it would be a good time to take some big risks and to bet big on yourself, right? And if you have a creative project, or if you have something of that nature you want to do, it's a good year to take that on. it can also be a good time just not to put the pressure on yourself. Let's say you don't have some big creative project or some work endeavor that you want to do. It's a good year to just rejuvenate yourself and come back to yourself as a Leo. What do Leos like to do? They like to play. They like to have a lot of downtime and unstructured time. And to really give yourself the gift of that is going to also help you get perspective on what are the next ways that you do need to show up in the world. Because Leos do thrive, on some amount of visibility or playing a part in the spotlight, even if you think you're shy. I've met a few shy Leos that are like, but I don't like the spotlight. It's not so much about being the center of attention, like life of the party. It's more like feeling like you're filling a purpose in being even a kind of a quiet leader of a group or a cause or somebody that people look to. And sometimes, though, Leos hit a point where they need to remember who they are. And this might be that kind of a year for you as well, for to just like play, create, have fun, get in touch with yourself again, give yourself a lot of gifts, be generous with yourself. Those are things that you can do starting really the second half of the year. Good. I'm glad that that is resonating. Yeah.
Thank you. And let's take Dolls. Hey, Dolly.
Yeah.
Doll. As an Aries, how will I know that it's best to stay still during this time?
So kind of like, when is it best to stay still? Yeah. I think for Aries people, having this energy coming in with the Saturn-Neptune conjunction coming into your sign and all of the other air and fire very active. How you know when it's time to slow down is you're going to feel burned out and overstimulated. Hopefully before you get to that point, you'll be building in some time for rest for yourself and for kind of withdrawing into yourself. And, how does Aries rejuvenate? One of the ways is to do something physical, paradoxically, like going for a walk, doing something active. Aries, get your energy out that way. That can be actually rejuvenating for you. And when you say stay still, I think like knowing when not to act. Watch the Mercury retrograde times. Those are times to just hang tight and not really do much. Those are all always listed on my website. I have all the Mercury retrogrades listed there. And I mentioned the one that's coming up here next week. And, Aries, like, trust your instincts. Like, Aries people are very instinctual and spontaneous. And so trust that what you plan to do next week, when you get to next week, it may not feel like the right thing, and so trust your instincts and what your body's telling you about that. Yeah.
And I love what Kevin says.
What is
well, hold on. Where is it? Okay, here we go. Being in the water for balance creates steam.
I like awesome. It. Yeah. That's great. Steam is awesome. Yeah. When we have those water and fire elements strong in our chart, you're a steamy person. Yeah.
Dena, thank you so much for being here with us. This has been, again, so enlightening and inspiring. These talks are inspiring, and I really appreciate you coming on and being part of this community with us.
Thank you so much. I love this community. I'm so grateful to be here. Thank you for having me again, and we'll be doing it again in April, hopefully.
Yes, definitely. And you guys, thank you all so much for being here with us. I love you all to smithereens. And you know what? We're here for you. So if you have any questions after this live stream goes off, don't hesitate to email, or DM, where whichever direction you're coming from, whether it's Facebook or Instagram or YouTube, feel free to reach out if you have any questions. And like one more time, I just want to reiterate how amazing Dena is at getting us to understand that which is on our insides, how we're spiritually wired, where our superpowers may lie with respect to the astrological blueprint. It's just awesome. So I highly recommend that again.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you. Thank
All
you,
right, you guys,
everyone.
have an amazing rest of your week, and we'll be seeing you again real soon.